are seeing some rotation there where Matt outlined. So this has prompted a tornado warning from the National Weather Service. As of now, it appears to be what we call a radar indicated warning. So they're seeing signs looking at radar that this storm is posing a threat of a potential tornado. Oak Harbor needs to seek shelter from this storm. Gibsonburg and Woodville, the storm is directly overhead. You may be hearing the sirens outside right now. That is your cue to get to your basement away from doors and windows. Oak Harbor, we want you to stay ahead of this storm. It's going to be in your neck of the woods in about 15 to 20 minutes, so now is the time to seek shelter as well. Port Clinton, the storm's expected to be in your neck of the woods in about 20 to 30 minutes, so please get to that basement or interior room. If you don't have a basement, a closet, a bathtub, a bathroom, away from those windows is the best place to be. That rotation that Matt pointed out is likely somewhere between Woodville and Gibsonburg, as we're seeing the velocity signature. You can see toward radar is green and away from radar is red, so that is our sign that there is a bit of rotation in the atmosphere that is occurring just to the south and east of Woodville. So Woodville and Gibsonburg, you need to be indoors away from those doors and windows. Preferably the basement is going to be your best spot. Now this tornado warning not impacting the entire viewing area. Matt, if you could broaden out the view just to give you an idea of how this is an isolated nature tornado warning, and really other than that, much of the region is dry right now. So we are seeing that pink polygon, that's the tornado warning. There is also a severe weather threat. That yellow polygon indicates a severe thunderstorm warning. So even if you're not directly in the line of the tornado warning, there is still going to be severe weather, and that includes the city of Fremont, back up towards the Maumee River. What are we seeing to the west? There is some isolated convection and thunderstorm activity developing, but I'm not noticing any imminent tornado threat with those. Down to the south of the region, not noticing any severe weather there, but it is all eyes on this tornado warning. For those just tuning in, that is until 4:45 p.m., and it does include portions of the Toledo Metro. Matt, if you can zoom back in on that storm cell, for those who may be getting the kids off the school bus, getting off work right now, how is this storm going to impact those evening plans? You will notice it's not the entirety of the metro. It's a very, very sharp cutoff, primarily in areas south and east of Toledo. That storm is directly overhead Woodville right now. Oak Harbor, 10 to 15 minutes away. Get to that basement. If your kids are just getting off the school bus, make sure that they know that they need to be in the basement and away from those windows and doors as well. Port Clinton, now is your time to seek shelter as well, and this one is heading out towards the Lake Erie Islands. City of Fremont is not in the tornado warning right now, but that yellow polygon, that still indicates severe winds, some hail, lightning and thunder as well. Matt just put a track on this one. It's moving to the east-northeast at around 40 miles per hour. That's the last data that I saw. So Oak Harbor, it's 4:06 right now, and this storm headed in your direction within the next 18 to 20 minutes. So Oak Harbor, we want to keep you ahead of that storm, and we have team coverage this evening as we're tracking this isolated severe thunderstorm that could potentially produce a tornado threat. Any new information on this? As of now, it appears that it's a radar-indicated tornado warning, and we'll continue to keep you updated, Chris.
Yeah, John, with that, we're getting numerous reports, obviously, across Lucas County, and it's important to note that the sirens, when they are sounded in Lucas County, go for all of Lucas County, even though this is not an immediate threat for the Toledo metro area. That threat is actually now east of Lucas County, over toward and just east of Woodville, out there toward Genoa and Elmore. So let's get into Doppler radar, where we're seeing some of that circulation, that tornado warning in effect until 4:45 p.m. And it's for Doppler radar indicated rotation at this point. That radar indicated rotation has been indicated in this area just east of Woodville. That's over there toward Elmore, out there toward Chanel Gardens, and it continues to move to the east, and that tornado warning that will be in effect until 4:45. So what I want you to do at this point, this is now east of Lucas County where we have that bigger threat. It's going to be from Woodville over toward Oak Harbor and eventually including Port Clinton as well. I do want you to be in your safe place. You want to seek shelter indoors, lowest level of your structure, away from any windows. There's been some indications that a few of these storms, as we suspected yesterday, could exhibit some rotation. This is one of those storms in particular that's tapped into just enough instability in the atmosphere and seeing where we're seeing some of that rotation. So we are indicating that rotation right over toward Elmore now, that is now pushing just east of Woodville and south of Genoa. So we do have indications that we're getting some Doppler radar indicated rotation in this area. area that is between Genoa and Elmore would be a good indication of where that rotation is at this point. So it's going to be going right down Route 163, and that is going to be along the Portage River, headed over toward Oak Harbor, is where we have that rotation. So it is a tornado warning. And again, if you're tuning into WTOL 11 because you've heard those outdoor warning sirens have been sounding in the Lucas County area, if you are in the Toledo Metro, we'd like to tell you, you are all clear of this. You are not in any immediate danger. This is Fred Sell, that tornado warning that is now east of the Toledo Metro. That is until 4:45. Does include parts of eastern Lucas County. Not in that, though, or included in that. The Toledo Metro is not one that is included. And again, if you heard those outdoor warning sirens, it is a county-wide alert that is something that is triggered all across Lucas County. So no indications that there's any risk in the Toledo Metro. This is clearly east of the Toledo Metro, down in particular over toward Elmore in just east of Woodville. At this point, don't have any indication that we have rotation that is on the ground at this point. We are getting reports of some damaging straight line winds that very likely came through the Woodville area as this cell did move to the east, and it again continues across Route 20, the Turnpike, and headed now down Route 163. We'll get a little bit closer in on this circulation. This is the area that we're most concerned about, just east of Elmore. So it's going to be south of 163, right at the junction, or south of 163 and 590 is where we're seeing some of the indications of that rotation. Right over or in the vicinity of Elmore, that's the area that we're looking at now, where we do have some of that Doppler radar indicated rotation. John, take us back a little wider perspective on this as well, because this is a tornado warning that we're going to be actively covering until 4:45 as this storm kind of moves slowly off to the east.
Yeah, it's really Ottawa County right now that is our biggest concern at the moment, and certainly a good reminder, Chris, that even if you did hear the tornado sirens, I know they went off in downtown Toledo, the risk is really pushing south and east of the Maumee River. The city of Elmore is seeing that rotation. We've been alerting Oak Harbor about the possible impacts of this severe thunderstorm. It's a pretty wide storm, and there will be the risk for rotation within that thunderstorm. So Oak Harbor, now you've got about 10 to 15 minutes before the severe weather threat heads to your town. So if the kids just got off the school bus, if you're heading home from work, now is the time to make those plans and stay ahead of the storm, especially in Oak Harbor. Further to the east, those in Port Clinton, if this storm does maintain its intensity, it could bring the risk for an isolated tornado, and at the very least, 60-mile-per-hour winds, as well as some hail as that storm moves in your direction. Now, the city of Fremont is not in the immediate tornado warning, but Fremont could still see the severe weather risk with some strong straight line and gusty winds. And as Chris pointed out, from Toledo back towards Perrysburg, this storm has already passed you, and there is nothing that you need to be concerned about north and west of the Maumee River. In fact, right now it looks like all of Lucas County there, the storm has already cleared off to the east and southeast, and it's really Ottawa and Sandusky counties that we are focused on, with not only the severe weather risk, but also the potential for a brief tornado. And the atmosphere today certainly does exhibit a bit of rotation, and it has all of the elements that would potentially be conducive to a spin-up tornado.
Rotation right here, it would be really enveloped in totally within the actual cell itself. So this is not anything that you're going to visually be able to observe. We've got numerous lightning strikes. In fact, about a couple dozen just in the past few moments with that tornado warning that is near and just east of Elmore. This is going to be south of 163. So there's Route 163 that's going to go into the west side of Oak Harbor. Here's State Route 590 right at the junction of Route 105 and 590. That is where that rotation is tracking as it moves to the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. And I can visually see this on Doppler radar. So I'm going to take the lightning off, and this is going to be just east of Oak Harbor between about 163 and 590, just south of that junction is where we've got that rotation that is showing up on Doppler radar. So let's take that latest scan, and this is what we're looking at right now, right here east of Elmore. So here's Elmore, south of 163. We've got some indications that we've got Doppler radar winds that are moving toward the radar site, and it's this little notch that initially prompted that tornado warning. The indication of those reds and greens that are very close in proximity to each other, that was over Woodville, went right along State Route 105 and continues to move to the east-northeast, and this is going to be headed directly toward that junction between State Route 590 and 163. Still going to give you that heads up in Oak Harbor because you are under that active tornado warning, and we're giving you that early heads up that you need to seek shelter at this point in Oak Harbor because that is where this is going to be tracking next as we get that latest data coming in. Up toward Rocky Ridge as well, just north of Route 163. Those are the next communities that we're going to be seeing that circulation. And again, that circulation that has been indicated by Doppler radar, really where we're seeing this right now, fairly good sampling of the lower layers of the atmosphere. So we're getting some indication that where this rotation is occurring, it may be close or just above the surface. And we've had confirmation that we've had some pretty strong straight line winds, in particular that have come out of this cell that could very well be producing some damaging winds and some power outage that will be possible. So we did have some reports in and around Woodville of those strong winds, and that radar scan still indicating just near and east and northeast of Elmore is where we've got that concern. So we can get really down to street level. It is right here in this area. So there's the Portage River. It's right along the Portage River, and it is getting ready to cross Route 590. Most likely within the next 3 to 5 minutes, that is going to be moving across 590, and then it will be moving over toward Oak Harbor. So heads up in Oak Harbor toward Rocky Ridge. Do definitely need you in your safe place at this point. John, we're going to continue to track those communities that are going to be impacted by this.
Yeah, Chris, and meteorologist Matt Willoughby just passed along some new information on the counties that are being impacted by this tornado warning. It does appear that the polygon has been trimmed a little bit based on the quick motion of this. So if we can just get the tornado warning polygon, it does appear that the Wood County portion of this polygon has been removed. So now it is just parts of Ottawa, Lucas, and Sandusky County as that cell quickly races off to the east. So those between Perrysburg and Bowling Green no longer in the threat of this storm cell. And it does look like that tornado warning was shrunk just a little bit based on the trajectory of this storm cell. Now it still does include Ottawa County. That is our biggest concern right now, especially from Oak Harbor back towards Port Clinton. But those up towards Wood County no longer under the threat of a tornado as a result of this cell. So Matt Willoughby, thanks for that information, as the tornado warning has been trimmed just a little bit, and this is until 4:45 p.m., and it does include parts of Lucas, Ottawa, and Sandusky counties still as that cell races off at about 35 miles an hour. And because of how quickly this one's moving, you need to treat this extremely seriously. We are still seeing that rotation. It's likely occurring to the southwest of Oak Harbor and now to the northeast of the city of indicative of some broad rotation in the atmosphere. An eye on the severe weather threat in the city of Fremont. Some strong and gusty winds that also indicate of about ½ an inch right now. So there could be some damaging hail in addition with the rotation that is occurring with this and those strong gusty straight line winds. It does appear that right on the leading edge of this line, that the winds are already picking up just yet, and they are now moving through Ottawa County. So it is Ottawa County that we're seeing the biggest impact out of this. Right, and the Doppler scan shows you that green color. That is strongest winds are with this right on the leading edge that is being to the northeast at 30 miles an hour. It was in Oak Harbor, even in base, you may be able to hear the booms of thunder going along with. We're quite a few lengths with this cell. Well, good news is now moving off to the east of the Toledo Metro. So between Toledo, Pittsburgh, Bowling Green, longer into tornado. However, Woodville up toward Harbor, important. There's some of the cities that we are concerned about. Right. Broadening out the picture, you can see this is a localized instance of severe weather. Really, much of the area is totally dry and free right now. There was a new thunderstorm back to the Midwest, moving into Paulding County. Something we'll keep a close eye on, but I'm not seeing any of the bells that have been immediate tornado threat. If you do have family or friends in Paulding or Van, or perhaps you're watching from one of the counties, that your warning goes till 5 o'clock p.m. Let's look at Toledo Metro, though. Those who may be getting off of work in the Toledo area, perhaps towards Perrysburg, Bowling Green, wondering how storm will impact the commute and those for school activities between Toledo, Perrysburg. Weather is actually turning calm right now. The storm pushes off to Lakeshore. Portland, though, that is one area keeping a very close eye on that is in that tornado warning gone. The storm doesn't appear right overhead harbor right now. And Matt, this was until 45, so we've got about another 20 minutes left. Tornado warning. We've on step of the wake being safe. Those in Oak Harbor, you're likely in the rain rooftop, even if you're in tornado shelter. It's a noisy storm. It's producing a lot of thunder and lightning, and you may hear the booms of thunder as the winds are picking up in Oak Harbor, Ottawa, down towards Sandusky. The edge of this is what is boosting the strong straight line wind in addition to rotation towards Woodville Center. The worst storm has passed by, but we want you to extend that tornado shelter until this warning has been expired. Tornado warning need to be extremely seriously, especially when the atmosphere primes rotate. Well, Oak Harbor right now, you're likely feeling the winds as well that are directly overhead. I would say Portland, this is going to be in vicinity within the next 10-15 minutes. You don't putting a track on them, it's still moving to the northeast at approximately 35 miles an hour. So folks, Portland, who may be when are those straight line winds to be in my area, and when is tornado threat going to be in my area?
Storm trap here, we got that around Max as well. Got that tornado warning again. Moving to the east, northeast at 35 miles per hour. Tornado warning has trimmed a little bit. Lucas, Ottawa, and Dusky County until 45. Very specific where that is from the exact rotation. Right over 163 and 90, that is South Rocky Ridge. This is moving into Harbor. If you know this area fairly frequently, drive Route 163. Know if you're headed on 163, you're into Oak Harbor, around where Oak Harbor High School is. That circulation is just south of Rocky Ridge, about 2 miles west of Oak Harbor. So we've got sports out there toward Oak Harbor out high school. Those need to be indoors or into right now, as that Car Harbor School just on the west of town. Circulation is just south of Ridge. It is directly over 160 and 590 is where we're seeing the rotation. So I'm over on this. Really, it's pushing Rocky Ridge as it stands right now, toward Oak Harbor, 426. So that is about 5 minutes now. I do the western edge. Oak Harbor be experiencing at least some of that Doppler radar indicated rotation. Moves to get about 5 from right now. Port Clinton out toward Perry on the west side of town. It would be close to 443. Get that rotation that made it over toward the shore out toward Perry, which is the west side of town. Now, a bit of good news we're looking at with Doppler radar. As we can't often do these circulations, we can detect if there is any debris that would indicate within this cell. I see it right now. So at this point, we're speculating. This is still Doppler radar indication. At any point, you really get any activity that about from any circulation. So that tornado warning until 445, exactly or precisely where rotation is as we continue to this to the east. It is headed into Oak Harbor by 426. Is now 4 minutes from right now. Some locations that we Doppler radar indicated rotation is near over Rock Ridge, and the direct on this to the east or east is likely going to drift just north of Route 163, and once that goes to Route 163, it's going to cross over. And it's across State 19. It's going to be State 19 north of Oak Harbor. So along 163, State Route 19, it is crossing directly over State Route 90, and then eventually it's going to be headed out toward State Route 2 toward the western edge, Port Clinton. All areas in Ottawa County that was meant, I need you in your place at this point. This tornado warning, just based on what we're seeing on Doppler and our experience. I fully expect that we're going to stay with tornado warning and be in place until this circulation that is over actually makes away over Erie and of harm's way, as it does over the next half hour. So, active warning that's going to be until 4:45. The situation that we're seeing now is Route 163 and 50 in Rocky Ridge. You and your safety at this. Go ahead and head toward a basement or a bathroom or of shelter. You could be away from any windows and avoid windows at point and windows. Nothing that you want to be around a tornado. Get in the basement, no basement, an interior room at the lowest floor, and have the tornado aid on hand, which include the first aid, flashlight, a pair of shoes be necessary. If you did sustain some damage due to storms and or the potential of that tornado. So, John, some time arrival. We're looking at Oak Harbor now, about 2 minutes from that circulation driving into the western of Oak Harbor.
Yeah, now time to act, actually, with how quick this one's moving. 35 miles an hour is very rapid motion on this. So those who live in Oak Harbor and in the vicinity of Oak Harbor, back toward Clinton, now to get to that an interior room away from doors and windows. Now, some of the we pointed out early on in the bridge include the city of Elmore, but worse the warm and the rotation is now Elmore east-northeast, but all in Ottawa County to be in that share until the warm has been expired. Although for back in the vicinity of Elmore and Woodville, the worst storm is already to the east of you. They're just awaiting confirmation that expired at 45. It's mainly the eastern part of Ottawa County that we're concerned about from Oak towards Port, where the winds are picking up. And there is some strong line wind, possibly even hailstones, maybe hearing the booms of thunder as well. For folks down to Fremont, so tornado free, but this is just going to barely clip the northern edges of front and bring some strong straight line wind right on the leading edge of this. Even not at direct polygon, still see potential for gusty winds that approach 60 miles per hour on the lead of this cell. We are likely to be waiting until that rotation's over the water before we let you go clear this thing. The tornado warning show nice pink there between Oak Harbor and Port Clinton. The color indicates a severe thunderstorm warning, and the pink is the tornado that goes at 4:45 p.m. As far as next to the Toledo metro, you're looking Oregon up towards Toledo there. This storm is well out of area, so those getting off work in Toledo, no concern. The immediate metro, we're watching this. Really, Ottawa County is what is seeing the most knit rotation. As far as the bigger picture goes, the vast majority of Northwest Ohio and Southern Michigan is, yes, we're watching this southwards van we're holding, and there is still a bit of a broad rotation that is bringing across higher atmosphere. Any one of these could potentially have some impact, but it's really one tornado warning that includes part of Ottawa and Dusky County that we're keeping very close upon. It's from Wasion down to Ottawa. There's no turning weather that I'm seeing right now. There are some pop-ups towards Vienna, could arrive in our neck of the woods later on this evening, but really this one lone cell that we're waiting on. Time is 4:20 right now, and this tornado warning set until 4:45 RFP. We've seen coverage this evening with Chief Meteorologist Chris Vicker. Any updates, Chris, or new information, or is this still a indicator?
Updates still are indicated, but we have a report of a funnel cloud that over Rocky Ridge, right on top of one as it moved across State Route 5, just north of Route 63. Report of a funnel cloud that was in the vicinity of the ridge that can move to north to the east. We hit that one really the minute. It's already now pushed Oak Harbor at 428 a few moments ago. That really put Oak Harbor and HO rotation now is just to the north of Oak Harbor. Should go on the side of town. Oak Harbor School is out on the west side on 163. That rotation is about 3/4 of a mile just to the northwest of that. It's going to be coaching across State Route 9 north of Oak Harbor up State 2. So this is good. Some fairly rural areas now north of Oak Harbor along Route 19. This is it, folks. That is our rotation. They're now bound right between 590 State Route 19. No Ottawa County really well. That is going to be 2 main state routes that the rotation is direct in between as it stands. Get that report, confirmed funnel cloud that was out there toward Rocky Ridge. This funnel cloud, again, that is spinning vortex up into the side, out of the lower portion of the cloud, but not in contact with the it's so hopeful that this is good news. There's some indications it's rotating, maybe a little bit raw compared to it was, but with some active indications that is rotation on our radar. One thing that I could do, we have been called what shear true. It indicates where we in rotation over the past 30 minutes, and this is the area you've seen rotation. It extends from the Woodville right along Route 105, directly into Elm, went right over more, is now north of Oak. So what you're seeing, that blue color there, it is an indication of wind shear that going up, weaker wind shear, but it was present along from Woodville to more to Arbor. So we had some persistent wind shear, a spinning, rotating atmosphere that is showing up this particular over the past minutes. So it continues to now north of Oak. I'm going to tornado warning now that we're at 4:30. Maybe you're typically accustomed to joining WTOL 11 News at 4:30. We are in continuous discussion now due to a tornado warning that is affecting. My great concern is out there in Ottawa County, although it include northern parts of Sandusky as well, but circulation clearly seems to cross Ottawa County. You have a severe thunder warning back there in the Van Wert storms that are out there, northern India. Those who keep a close eye on as well, but the concern and greatest concern right now is typically just north of Oak Harbor, so Ottawa County until 4:45. Where we still some indications that we have rotation that's been had. This is now east of 90, north out 163. You can highlight this that is showing up with rotation is occurring, ready to cross directly over State 19. Point, then it's going over toward Route 2, and eventually will be off the lake shoreline somewhere southeast of Ottawa National Wildlife Refuge, eventually cross over Route 2. John, we're in continuous coverage at this point. Some rotation evident on our latest replies. We've an indication funnel cloud, and we're hoping it does that way.
Yep, Chris, coming up on 32 p.m. and this warning expire at 45. We have a lot of viewers out to Port Clinton who be one this storm cell going to impact us, and where Chris just identified the rotation. I think biggest impacts of this storm are going to be moving north of Port Clinton as we're already north and east of the city. And this storm is very, very quick moving to the east at about 30 miles an hour. If we zoom in again, on the velocity scan to give you an idea of where we are seeing some turn atmosphere. I think that end up really with that report of the Pork as well. So Portland, even though I think worst of the rotation going to be north of you, was the time to get basement if you're already there already for that tornado sure as well. Right on the edge of that storm, we're seeing some strong line winds and perhaps some looking clouds as well. That funnel cloud lines up with notice on velocity. This one's coming in weather system now. Several reports near Rock Ridge from the public of a funnel cloud near Rocky Ridge. Now we are grateful for those reports, but we do urge you not the time to amateur storm spot. Now is the time to shelter, get to that basement. You can send any reports after the warning has expired, but we don't want those reports right now. We want you to be, especially those in the vicinity of Oak Harbor, Port, as we are seeing this storm has a history of producing a funnel cloud, and there's still an atmosphere in Ottawa and Sandusky County towards the city of Clinton. Tornado warning is still in effect at least another minutes until it is extended by the National Weather Service. It does, the rotation has been muted a little bit because green colors indicate winds going toward radar, and there was an active area rotation. We're seeing greens, reds right to each other. That's what we call a lit or something really coming in the atmosphere. Now we did get a cloud report, so we're taking the storm very seriously. I'm certainly hoping for the best, but for the worst. That was reported in fact, several from the public to the west of Oak Harbor, Rocky Ridge. That funnel cloud instant is often a precursor potential tornado. Now, on that tornado warning, there are cells the ion crossing over the Indiana line. That's Paulding and Van Wert counties. We do have a lot of viewers out in that because even though they are Fort Worth viewing area, if you are watching from, or if you have family or friends, sure that they are seeking shelter away from that thunderstorm. As clusters of storms towards northern Indiana, could also in the same sort of atmosphere that is volatile now. You'll notice towards Endoville, Indiana, it does appear that there's a warning that was issued. So right now we do have information on a thunderstorm that looks to include portions of Henry and Defiance County. This cell holding in Van Wert has picked up some steam and moved to the east. So this one goes until 5:30, and it does include Defiance, Paulding, Putnam, and Henry counties. And I would guess that one is for the threats that we've been tracking all evening, which includes some strong straight line winds as well as some hail. So that one.
Noticing on that one as well, when we understand the atmosphere and the conditions we're dealing with right now, we've already had a storm or two that's shown tendencies to want to rotate. It's very possible that we could get some rotation within those cells as well that are just developing on the southern edge of our viewing area. So we're not going to turn a blind eye to those. We'll continue to cover those. I do want to update you on this, though, very quickly across the Toledo Metro. If you heard the earlier storm sirens, outdoor warning sirens, there is absolutely no risk for Lucas County at this point. The Toledo Metro, you are all in the clear of this one. And in fact, what John and I and Matt Willoughby have been all analyzing, a team of meteorologists behind the scenes here, that former rotation was right north of Oak Harbor along State Route 19. That is weakened considerably. To be honest with you, I'm not seeing that rotation right now, so I fully expect with what we're seeing on radar, this tornado warning will be allowed to expire, but it is moving to the east-northeast, and it was getting very close to crossing over State Route 19, getting close to Route 2, and heading out there toward Davis-Bessie. At this point, I'm not seeing that rotation that we saw earlier. It will be going north of Camp Perry and eventually east of Ottawa National Wildlife Refuge, right along Route 2. If you're familiar with that area, right when you make that turn over Route 2, you're looking over toward the vicinity of the Paradise Acres Campground, which is just north of the Bend, or south of the Bend, right there on Route 2. So that's about what we're looking at now as that moves to the east-northeast. But again, we're not seeing that active rotation. But as John highlighted as well, there's a couple brand new severe thunderstorm warnings. In addition to the active tornado warning, at this point, it looks like we're going to let that one ride till about 4:45. Down across parts of southern Defiance County, part of Henry County, northern Putnam County. That is a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. That severe thunderstorm warning will include the risk of some gusty winds until 5:30 p.m. That is going to be in effect for Defiance, Henry, Paulding, and Putnam counties, just off to the south and west. I did do a quick examination on Doppler radar as well, just indicating if we were seeing any rotation, and we could take you down there to that cell. Not seeing any particular rotation that's concerning yet with this cell, but we have the ability within Doppler radar to actually examine some of those cells a little bit closer, and we'll look at some of the storm relative winds, and we're just looking very close where we could be seeing some areas of rotation, and we're looking west of continental. That's just an example at this point. It's looking like broad rotation to me, so it's not anything that's of an imminent concern toward the ground, but broad rotation, especially with where we're scanning on Doppler radar west of continental, could be an indication that a few of those storms may have the tendency to want to rotate like a few of them have already across the area this afternoon. And reports confirmed of a funnel cloud over toward Rocky Ridge. That was about 15 to 20 minutes ago. That cell now moving off to the east and is going to be headed over to Lake Erie very shortly, and indications are that rotation has significantly weakened on that cell. I'm going to give it one more glance over here, and we'll check back in with John as I fully expect that tornado warning is very likely to be expiring once we hit 4:45. This tornado warning likely to expire. Not seeing any signs of any strong rotation. We could give it one more close look inside where we have that former rotation, and really at this point, one little speckle of rotation is all we're seeing, and that speck is right along and just ready to push off of Route 2 or over Route 2 and then eventually over the lake. So about officially 4.5 minutes, John, left of that tornado warning that continues to move to the east-northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, Chris, we're going to ride this one out with you to make sure that you're safe. Ottawa and Sandusky counties still stay on high alert and stay in that tornado shelter until the warning has expired as we now approach 4:41. And a good reminder from Chris that even though this one is just a severe thunderstorm warning as of now, the atmosphere across northwest Ohio and southeastern Michigan, it has exhibited a bit of a nefarious nature in the sense that there could be some turning in the atmosphere as well. So those of you towards Defiance, Putnam, and Henry counties, the threats of this severe weather right now going to be some strong winds and some hail as well, but you'll want to be on high alert throughout the course of the evening. And even those who live in the vicinity of Toledo and BG, even though there's no active weather right now, you want to stay with us right here on WTOL 11 through 5 and 6 o'clock p.m. as we update you on all those cells that we're tracking moving in from the west. We're at 4:41 right now. Ottawa and Sandusky counties, hang with us, stay in that tornado shelter until that storm is passed over the water. Right now, Port Clinton likely hearing those booms of thunder off in the distance as the strong winds and the heavy rain begin to move on through with that tornado warning that is set to stay in effect for about 3 more minutes or until we get confirmation from the NWS. Again, it's very localized, Ottawa and Sandusky counties. We are just awaiting this cell to move over the open water before we give you the all clear, at least on that one right now. Port Clinton is likely getting the heavy rain out of that. Oak Harbor, the worst of that storm is now past you off, but there is still some ongoing rain in Oak Harbor as this one gets very, very close to the edge there of Ottawa County, moving towards the have as we monitor that severe weather risk that is now moving towards Henry, Defiance, and Putnam counties as well. We are coming up on 4:44, so bear with us for another minute or so until that warning has expired, and we're keeping a very close eye on these cells as well.
John, it's a good important point of emphasis here as well, that when we are in severe weather coverage like this, it is an active tornado warning right now. It is a courtesy that we offer to you, to your neighbors, to your friends, to your family. When there's an active situation where there could be dangerous or hazardous weather, such as a tornado warning, it is our obligation to, of course, be there for you. We are fully expecting that it is very likely this tornado warning will expire. One thought in mind here, though, as well, as this circulation moves over Lake Erie, it is going to be headed up toward the Lake Erie Island, so I do want you to have a heads up there if you're out toward Put-in Bay or Kelly's Island, where you're not in that active tornado warning. Just be advised that there is a strong storm that is headed to you up into parts of the Lake Erie Islands. This cell, though, it is drifting off over Lake Erie, and we will be able to likely see that tornado warning expire in a mere moment or two. One severe thunderstorm warning that will continue to follow, and we'll continue to update you on WTOL 11 is down here across Defiance, Henry, Paulding, and Putnam County until 5:30 p.m. That is for the potential of some gusty winds and some large hail, and just as we expected, now that we've officially hit 4:45, that tornado warning has expired out there for Ottawa and Sandusky County, so no active tornado warnings across our area, which is a bit of good news and our sigh of relief. We did get a report of a funnel cloud or multiple funnel clouds out toward Rocky Ridge as we were tracking some fairly tight rotation on radar. Our team of meteorologists, John Birchfield, meteorologist Matt Willoughby, are going to continue to cover this behind the scenes as well. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with the continuation of WTOL 11 news at 4 p.m. We'll see you after the break.